consultants for Mailing Systems Technologies. Welcome to our first video segment. Mailing System Technologies is putting this together to help keep you informed about what's going on in the document business. In our segments, we'll be doing some commentary on industry trends, talking about new technologies, sharing some strategies you can use in your own document centers, and throwing in an interesting story from time to time. I hope you find the content to be useful. Today we're going to start off by talking about some basic quality control concepts. These types of controls should be no-brainers for printers that are in the transactional document business. They do it every day. But in the frantic world of trying to meet deadlines and juggle priorities, sometimes procedures get missed or bypassed. And those companies that are new to transactional documents, perhaps having a background in graphic arts or in direct mail, perhaps don't have all the procedures and controls in their workflows yet that they need to have. Not having the controls or not following them when you should can lead to some pretty devastating results. Making errors can really damage your reputation as a reliable service provider. The reason I chose this topic was a news item I saw out of Concord, New Hampshire. The city of Concord had to notify all of its residents to throw their property tax bills away and wait for new ones to come in the mail. The residents were told about an unknown glitch that caused an error on the tax bills. All the taxpayers got bills with their proper names and addresses on them, but someone else's tax information. Obviously a pretty glaring mistake. This caught my eye because we have some clients that produce property tax bills, and I've done them myself in the past when I worked in the service bureau business. The application isn't all that complicated, so I was wondering about what went wrong. Well, they weren't really specific about the exact cause of the problem, but there were some clues in the story. The printing company sent 150 copies to the city for them to take a look at. The city audited all 150 copies, decided they were all correct, and gave the okay to go into production. At some point, the printing company separated the name and addresses from the tax data, probably to do pre-sorting on the names and addresses. Well, the file coming out of the pre-sort process would have been a mailing sequence, and it sounds like they had trouble matching that back up properly with the tax data. Unfortunately, nobody caught it. To a visual inspection, the tax bills would have looked fine. Everything would have lined up, and they would have been beautiful, but they were all wrong. Well, the city was overwhelmed with phone calls from the residents that were confused. They had to explain over and over again what had happened. Their small staff was thoroughly consumed, and they had to extend the payment deadline to account for the late mailings of the bills, which of course affected their cash flows. Not only that, but some residents were calling for the resignation of the city manager who was in charge of this project, and others were demanding that the city stop doing business with this particular printing company. So taxpayer confidence was definitely shaken. So what can we learn from this story? Well, here's 3 strategies that you can use in any job that has variable data. Had the printing company done any of these 3, I believe they would have caught this error. Strategy number 1. Proof copies should always be representative of the final product. Don't have your customer approve documents and then do some changes to the file afterwards. That's just another opportunity for errors to creep into the system that likely are not going to be caught. You have a false sense of security because you already have approval. Strategy number 2. If your application includes matching, make sure that your matching logic is foolproof. Don't rely upon the sequence of the file to do matching. Don't rely upon fields that you manufactured yourself. Find some unique values in the original data that you can use to match. Sometimes you have to concatenate several fields together to find a unique value, but it's worth the trouble. And strategy number 3, always compare the original raw data to the final printed output. Take some records that are in the file, pick them at random, look at the pages that printed, make sure that all the fields printed correctly, that they all show the way that you expected them to show. Had the printing company done this, they would have noticed this error in a heartbeat. They could have fixed it and saved all the problems that they created for themselves, the city, and for the residents. I'm not sharing this story with you to ridicule the printing company or the city. I feel for them. The printing company probably had to eat the cost of reprocessing the bills and the postage, and they might have lost a big customer in the city. Hey, mistakes can happen. They probably happened to you. I know they've happened to me. That just goes to show you how a small error can have a big impact. And I wanted to point out how some simple strategies for quality control can make all the difference in the world, or at least in Concord, New Hampshire. If you've got some story ideas, just send them to me, mporter@printmailconsultants.com, and we'll see if we can get them on. We've got lots of other ideas for you, so look for our articles and our newsletters, or go to our website and get some more details. That's all for now, so thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.